In an ideal world, there are no injuries, and you don't need to pay much attention to the quarterback waiver wire till bye week start. However, we do not live in an ideal world. You want some evidence? Daniel is my co-host. Life is pretty much a series of one disappointment after the next. So with that uplifting message in mind, let's head to the quarterback waiver wire and see what's available. My top quarterback on the waiver wire for week 3 only, famous Jameis Winston. Yes, that's how slim the pickings are. Because just a week ago, I said this about Jameis Winston on the Fantasy Focus 06010 podcast.
It sucks. It sucks to be tied to Jameis Winston. Like, how do you eat an L? Can I eat an L? Oh, there you go. That's me eating an L. Oh.
And now, one half-decent game later, Winston is my top quarterback waiver claim. He still has nice weapons around him in Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and O.J. Howard. And he's had 10 days to prepare to take on an awful Giants team at home in Tampa Bay. Winston out there in 55% of ESPN leagues. You don't want Winston? I get it if you don't. How about the new governor of New York, Josh Allen? This season, Josh has not stopped running. As his 17 rushes ranked second among all quarterbacks so far, he has a rushing touchdown in each of his first 2 games, and his passing has been pretty strong as well, throwing for over 250 yards in both games after not doing so at all last season. And just like Winston getting the Giants this week, Allen actually gets a nice matchup in week 3 against the lowly Bengals. Allen available in 70% of ESPN leagues, and I like him better long-term than Winston. Now, let's look at the rest of the quarterback waiver wire. At number 3, it's Jacoby Brissett. Already 5 touchdowns in his first 2 games, he now faces a Falcons defense that's also already allowed a pair of quarterback rushing scores. Then you got Matthew Stafford. You gotta love the matchup with the Eagles, who have given up 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in each of their first 2 games. And what about Jimmy Garoppolo? Good-looking Jimmy G. He gets a Steelers defense that so far this year is allowing nearly 25 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Another week, another Chiefs wide receiver goes off. Week 1, it was Sammy Watkins going for 46 fantasy points. This past Sunday, Demarcus Robinson went for 35, while Mecole Hardman chipped in 16. With Tyreek Hill still out, Robinson and Hardman are must-adds on the waiver wire. Robinson available in more than 95% of ESPN leagues. Hardman out there in more than 60%. But my top wide receiver waiver wire ad is actually not one of those 2 Chiefs. It is, wait for it, you're never going to guess who this is. But
I got a guess for you there, Barry. Let me guess it is a Redskin because you are a homer.
Well, look, Strawman, yes, you somehow got that correct. It's Terry McLaurin. But it's not because I'm a homer. I mean, I am a homer. But I truly think McLaurin is the best waiver wire option this week. And it's not all because of here, okay? It's also because of here.
So let me get this straight. You like McLaurin because you're bald? Great analysis, you bum.
All right, look. McLaurin has a higher floor than both Robinson and Hardman, partly because, don't love to admit it, but the Chiefs have way more weapons than my Redskins do, okay? Patrick Mahomes has people to spread the ball around to. Case Keenum basically just has McLaurin. 7 targets in week 1, 9 in week 2. He's the clear number 1 wide receiver in Washington, while Robinson and Hardman are wide receivers 3 and 4 in Kansas City once Tyreek Hill returns. Remember, they still have Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce. A lot of weapons in that Chiefs passing attack. I don't know how much consistent fantasy value they'll have. As for the rest of my waiver wire wide receivers, how about Deebo Samuel? In week 2, the rookie much more involved in the Niners game plan. He led the team with 7 targets, including 2 in the red zone. And my number 5 waiver pickup at receiver this week, DJ Chark. Chark has been targeted on over 22% of his routes this year, and last week he was the only Jags player to get targeted in the red zone. Add any of these 5 players if you need help at receiver.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. Remember to download the free ESPN Fantasy app, and for streaming sports and premium content like the Fantasy Show, be sure to subscribe to ESPN Plus.